Hey YouTube land, Andrews here once again with another one of the Resident Evil figure packs. This is the fourth of the 5 from Series 1. Now, at the time of this recording, I still am unable to find the Hunter from the Hunter and Chimera 2-pack. So hopefully what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on with the Series 2 stuff that I have. And in the meantime, if I find the Hunter, I'm going to backtrack and do the review for that. So, without further ado, we'll have a quick look at the packaging. So this is the one that I actually still have packaging for, along with the only other one was the Jill Valentine and the web spinner. So the behind the figure was an image of the mansion. In fact, it was the hallway from the mansion, if I remember correctly. The stairs was just off to the side over here. And you had like 2 sets of double doors. You had the area that you walk around behind. And you have an image of the zombie. And you have the Resident Evil logo. And you can see the price of these things at the time. These were £4.99 back when we used pound or punt as the old Irish, before we switched over to the euro. So you can tell how old these cards are. I think we switched over just around early 2000 to the euro. It was the millennium. They switched over. So on the back of this we have a write-up. Zombies during the experimentation with the T-virus, hazardous materials were unleashed, exposing the scientists to the biohazard they created. Now as the T-virus courses through their veins, they are not their only thoughts are to replenish their own decaying flesh by feasting on human victims. And then Forest Speyer from the stars fell victim to the horror of the T-virus when he was attacked by a horde of mutated ravens. As a zombie, he rises from the floor of the mansion, ready to stalk the corridors in search of new victims, perhaps his star's teammates. So both of these figures had a action feature gimmick, and you have some artwork of the characters in the corner. So you have the zombie. This guy was actually called the Maggot Zombie, but he was supposed to be based on one of the star's lab assistants. You can see in the corner here, it shows as a Forest Speyer lays still on the floor and then make him stand by raising his arms and turning the lever. So we'll go through him first because he's pretty much a brick compared to the zombie. So if I move the zombie behind the Maggot Zombie, we go with Forest Speyer and see if we can get his action feature to work. So he lies still on the floor, which doesn't really look much like a floor of a building. It looks more like a wooded landscape. And we'll see if we can get him to raise from the grave. Unfortunately, he did that outside of camera view, so it's a bit hard because when he's quite taller. So when you lay him down, his arms flop down, and then when you raise him up, he does this. And that's pretty much all he does, because he doesn't have any other articulation. He just raises up, and you can take him off this thing, but he doesn't stand too well because his legs are in this weird kind of I need to pee kind of positioning. He does look like he should have waist swivel, but he doesn't. He looks like he should have a neck joint, but he doesn't, because his hairpiece goes behind this. His arms don't have any articulation other than the action feature gimmick. So as I said, he's essentially a brick. He does have some cool sculpting work. You can see where the he's been attacked and mangled and stuff. His throat is all mangled. Half his face is ripped apart. His rib cage is exposed. His legs are kind of cracked open. Not so much on his back, but more on the front. You can see his elbow here is exposed. So he's quite a sort of zombie, but he just doesn't do much. He does have peg holes on his feet because he attaches to this big base. Now, it has a 1988 Toy Biz stamp on it. So the main gimmick with this guy is you have this lever on the side. It just basically, he lies still like that, and then you raise it up with his feet pegged into this. As you can see, it doesn't really look like a floor of a mansion or a building. It looks more like a wooded area. These look like tree stumps, or vines, and then you have some dead crows there. So it's not too interesting. He does add to the kind of zombies style of things. So in total, they did release 4 zombie figures, including this guy. So if I just stick him back onto his little base, so we're going to do his thing again. So you have this guy as one of the zombies that they released, and you have the zombie from the zombie pack, which he comes with. So there's 2 zombies this way, and then in series 2 they released an additional 2 zombies, one of which reuses this guy's entire sculpt except for head. So if I bring him in, this is the zombie from the Hunk versus Zombie 2-pack. As you can see, he's the exact same sculpting. Bit more paint apps on him for the zombification stuff, but other than that, it's the exact same sculpt, different head. And this one from series 1 has the additional added waistcoat, kind of scientist jacket. You can see he's supposed to have a name tag up here, and you can see his arms are done in more of a lab coat style paint. So he's pretty cool. So he's a pretty cool zombie figure. You have his head can swivel, his arms can rotate. Now I might not try doing the action feature with this guy, because due to their age I have a horrible feeling that the piece might break, but we'll try with one arm. Hopefully this one's not the worst. So his action feature gimmick is you can pull his limbs off. So you can pull both arms off, and you can pull both legs off. You can't pull them apart at the knees or anything, or you can't pull the head off, but the idea was they're on this section that just pegs in. It's the exact same action feature that's on the series 2 version that came with Hunk. He has the exact same feature. These guys aren't too badly articulated. As you can see, the arms do rotate all the way around. His head does swivel side to side. You could probably push it to be 360, but I don't want to, just in case it snaps that peg. It's quite an old peg in there. His legs can kick forward. He has these kind of this wash over him to make him look dirty and grimy and muddy. You see his back has been exposed, has been ripped open. His other leg, his pants leg, goes down as far as here, and then the rest of it is exposed skin. And you see it's been kind of torn away at, and you can see these maggots that are on him, hence his name, Maggot Zombie. I don't remember if any of the zombies actually looked like this in the game. I know this Forest Speyer character you do come across him in the game, and the guy from series 2 is supposed to kind of resemble the very first zombie that you find, the one that's kind of like that, and you just see his head turn on that in the video game, the kind of iconic first encounter with the zombie. I think he's supposed to represent that guy, but overall he's not too bad. His right arm is a lot more decayed than his left arm. You see the bones are actually exposed. His muscle is a bit more exposed, and he has like more of his lab coat is on his left arm than on his right. And his head is kind of, I think half his face is kind of a bit chewed up, and his teeth are more exposed, and you have like big red splotches for different parts of gum line and stuff like that. So overall he's a fairly decayed looking zombie. Now the one thing these guys never had great was their standing capability. He can stand, but it takes practice to get him into that just right spot, so he will stand. His feet are kind of angled, so it does make it hard for him to stand. If we just get him to stand while doing this review, while I knock him over. He does have peg holes on the bottom of his feet. He doesn't come with a stand, so if you have a stand, it would probably help him to actually, you know, a display base would probably help him to stand a bit better. But you can get him to stand. And if I just bring in this guy again, you see the similarities between them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the other figures that I had a look at so far. So everyone I've reviewed so far. Unfortunately, I don't have the Cerebus, or sorry, no, the Hunter from the Chimera 2-pack, so I will leave that off for the time being. I have to bring in the Cerebus, which is still quite finicky to get it to work properly. The web spinner, and then the big bad Tyrant, who is probably going to fall over and smack everything and knock everything over as I bring him in the background. Hopefully he will stand quite patiently behind things. So there you go, guys. Quick look at the Resident Evil Series 1 Forest Speyer and Maggot Zombie set. Now hopefully I will be able to dig out that Hunter figure wherever the heck he is. And I'll get around to doing that review to finish off the Series 1 stuff, but I will crack on with the Series 2 stuff that I have. I only have two complete sets, one of which is missing a component, which is the Claire Redfield and the zombie set. It's actually missing. She came with a crossbow that fires, so there is actually a couple of firing gimmicks in this Series 2. Hers being one. I don't think Leon came with a firing gimmick. He may have done. I never had that set, but I'm going to get cracking with the zombie set, the hunk and zombie set from that, and then we'll take it from there. Cheers, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it's been informative and entertaining for you.